So in 4.6, we're actually not graphing at all. Okay, so there's no graphing in this section. All we are doing is writing the equation from the graph, from the table, from ordered pairs. So we're doing all of this backwards from what we've done earlier in the chapter, and that's reading the equation and then putting it on the graph or putting it into a table. All right, so writing equations in slope-intercept form. Does everybody have your notes labeled up? Okay. Let's go. All right, so in example 1, we're writing the equation in slope-intercept form, but all I have is the graph to look at. Okay, that's all I have. So I need to figure out, okay, how can I use this information to actually write my equation? Well, the first thing you need to remember is, what is slope-intercept form in the first place? Okay, so can you guys help me review that? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so in order to find m, I need to either be able to count rise over run, which I totally could do that with a graph, couldn't I? Couldn't I just count rise over run? Or I can pull the ordered pairs off of the graph and then find slope. Okay, either one would be fine. If you have a graph there, why not just count it, right? I mean, that's pretty simple. Okay, so let's count from left to right what our rise over run is. Okay, so I go down 1, 2, 3, so that's -3, and I go over 1, 2. Okay, so what's my m based on my graph? M equals -3 over 2. Okay, but I need a b, and b stands for what? What does b stand for? The y-intercept. Can I tell based on the graph where the line intersects the y-axis? Can I tell where it crosses? Absolutely I can. It crosses at a value of 5. So my b value is 5. So now I'm going to put this into an equation, okay, into my slope-intercept. Y equals -3 over 2x plus 5 or minus 5? Plus 5. Plus 5. So if the graph is there, why not use it, right? Okay, use it for rise over run. Use it to determine where your y-intercept is. And then you plug it in where m and b go into the equation. All right. Any questions on that? All right. When the graph is there, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Just count your rise over your run. And then where does it cross the y-axis, and you plug that in for b. Okay. So if it had crossed the y-axis at a -2, which number would have changed? Yeah, the y-intercept, the b. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one. What if I have a table, though? Okay, I don't want to have to graph all those ordered pairs. That would take way too long. There's a faster way to do that. All right, so I still need the same information, though. What's my formula again? Y equals mx plus b. All right, I still need m and I still need b. But now I need to use my ordered pairs. So this is where my slope formula will help me. As long as you use consecutive ordered pairs. What does it mean for something to be consecutive? Elizabeth?
They go in a pattern.
In a pattern, in a sequence, in order, okay? Back to back. So you can pick, guys, you can pick any two ordered pairs as long as they are back to back. First and second. You can pick second and third. You can pick third and fourth. Which ones could you not match together? The first one and the third one, because now you're skipping one. So you can't skip ordered pairs as long as they're back to back. This is going to work. All right, so for the sake of all of us just staying together, let's use the first two ordered pairs. All right, so we're going to go 0, and we're going to list them. 0, -3, and 3, 2. Right, it's 3, 2, yeah. And 3, 2. Okay, so those are my two ordered pairs. Can I use ordered pairs to find slope? Absolutely. What is my formula? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, this is my formula when I have ordered pairs. So now go ahead and plug in your numbers and find your slope. Okay, what's my y2 value? 2. What's y1?
-3.
So do you agree that's going to be a double negative? Okay. Over 3 minus 0. So what's 2 minus -3?
5.
Positive 5 over 3. Okay. So let's start writing now our formula. Y equals, what's m? 5/3 x. But now I need my b value. Where is this line going to cross the y-axis? There is an ordered pair in the table that will tell us. And the ordered pair that tells us is the one that has an x value of 0. Because think about it. Imagine it on your graph. It's not going either way on x. It's only going down to a -3. So that's where the line crosses y. Okay? And I had a really good question last hour. She said, well, what if one of the ordered pairs does not have a 0 for x? It will. It has to in this scenario, so I can see, based on my ordered pairs, what my b value is. Okay? So are you following what I'm saying? There's an ordered pair that will have 0 for x. There has to be. Whatever the y value is, that's your b. Whatever the y value is, that's your b. Think about it. You're not going anywhere on x. You go down to -3. That's your point. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. So it's -3. Why? Because that's matched up in my ordered pair that had the 0 for x. That had the 0 for x. Hang in there. We're going to do a couple more if you didn't understand that. All right, and now I'm done with my equation. That's my equation. I figured out my slope using ordered pairs, and I figured out my y-intercept based on the ordered pair that had a 0 value for x. All right, any questions? Okay, let's go on to example 2 now. In example 2, I need to read a graph, but what do you notice about this graph? There's really not a whole lot to write here on this slide, guys, just to kind of pay attention more than anything. What do you notice about that line, Mason? It's not undefined. It's the slope is 0 because what kind of line is it? It's horizontal. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. So based on what you just said, which one of these 4 options automatically eliminates? Which one of these has a slope? Yeah, this one says the slope is supposed to be -3. Well, I can clearly see there is no slope. It has a slope of 0, so that one's out. So now I have 3 options left. Y equals -3, -4, and 0. Well, how am I going to know which one it's supposed to be? There's a clue in here on my graph. How I know which one this graph actually matches with. Sarah?
You go from left to right and you count how many spaces there are?
No, not quite. But I like the way you're thinking. Lily?
What if these y equals -4?
Why?
Because some -4 is in the y-axis.
It crosses the y-axis at a value of -4. So there's no slope there, but it intersects y at -4, so that's the equation that matches the graph, because that's where it crosses. So if it crossed at a 0, it would have been y equals 0. If it crossed at -3, that would have been it. So when there is no slope, you're just looking at where it crosses the y-axis, and that's your equation. Okay? So now we're going to look at another example of having no slope. Okay, so I'm kind of giving it away. But when we pull the ordered pairs out of this table, we're going to find something different about the slope, and we need to talk about that. So go ahead, based on the last table that we did, pull out your ordered pairs consecutively, so first and second. Okay, find your slope and your y-intercept and try to write your equation. I'm going to walk around and kind of check on you guys. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so when we pull out these ordered pairs, did you guys do -4, 5? That's my first ordered pair. And 0, 5. Everybody get that far? So 5 minus 5 over 0 minus -4, which becomes a positive. 0 over 4. Who got this far? Who got 0 over 4? Raise your hand if you got 0 over 4. Okay, good. So now let's put it into our equation. Y equals 0 over 4x. What's my y-intercept? What's my y-intercept? And I need you to tell me how you figured that out. Sherelle? It's 5. And how did you figure that out? Yes, because it's in the ordered pair that had an x value of 0, and it was my y value. So that's my indicator. That's my hint. Okay, so it's plus 5. But this is only a half credit answer because my slope is 0. That means that this entire term cancels out. Okay, that means this entire term completely cancels out. So it's 0 over 4 actually becomes 0, so this cancels out, and y equals 5. Y equals 5. Okay, so again, if you said 0 over 4x, technically that is correct, but I need you to understand that means that there's no slope at all, so it completely cancels. All right, questions on that one? Okay, so now let's look at finding the equation or writing the equation of the line that passes through the given points. So write down this first ordered pair, 0, -5, and 2, -5. And I want you to write the equation of the line. So use the ordered pairs to find your slope. And then one of the ordered pairs here tells you what the y-intercept is going to be. So you're looking for that clue that we just talked about in the last slide. Okay, -5. All right, I'm going to show you guys. -5 minus -5 over 2 minus 0. Is this getting to be a little bit more of, like a pretty good habit? Like we don't have to write the y2 minus y1 or x2 minus x1. It's starting to just become a little more natural to find slope. All right, and I do get 0 over 2. Okay, so my equation y equals 0 over 2x. What is my y-intercept and how did you find it? How did you find it, Joshua? Very good. The ordered pair that has 0 for x, the y value is -5, so I know it's -5. But we said that we have to do something. This is not and actually you don't even have to write this. I wrote this because I need to clarify again, why is this not my final answer? Typically it would be, but why is this not my answer? This is only a half credit answer. Lily?
Because 0, 2,
Yes.
you have to cross that out.
Yes. Because 0 is my slope, guys, I need to cross it out, and my actual answer is y equals -5. Y equals -5. All right, now, the next one is not a slope of 0, so the next one will be a whole equation. Go ahead and do this next equation. I'm hoping to get everybody in here to get this one right, okay? So we're going to take maybe an extra minute or so to make sure that we're all getting this concept. All right, so we find slope 2 minus 4 over 0 minus -1. Which changes to a positive. So we get -2 over 1. Is it okay to leave it as a fraction, and why would I want to? Because rise over run, because when I'm graphing it. So now I come down here to my equation. Y equals -2 over 1x. Could I have just said -2x? Is that the same thing? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, what is my y-intercept? Mason? Did you get it? What is it? It is positive 2. How did you find that?
I had 3 because I had 2. We chose the first one.
Uh-huh. Which a lot of people do. Yes, I have to pick the ordered pair that has 0. He said, I messed up because I picked the first one. And that's what a lot of people do. They just pick the first y value, but they forget it has to be in the ordered pair that has 0 for x. Okay? So, negative 2x plus 2. Oops, I messed that up. All right, who got that right? Got that right? Most everybody? Any questions? Okay, one more example. Example 3. All right, engineers are digging a 3,500 foot long tunnel at a constant rate. The constant rate part is really important, guys. Without having a constant rate, we can't write it into slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, my m value only works when it's the same rate. So that's important. After 4 months, the engineers still need to dig 1,500 feet to finish the project. How much time does it take to complete the tunnel from start to finish? Okay, so first of all, I need to figure out how fast they're digging, or maybe a better way to say that is how many feet per month they're digging in the first place. How do you think we could figure out that information? If we know they started at 3,500 and after 4 months they have 1,500 feet to go. How could I figure that out, Maya? Yes, very good. 3,500 minus 1,500 tells me that they have dug. Why would it be negative? Why would it be negative? Because it's a tunnel. It's a tunnel. Okay? And how long did it take them to dig 2,000 feet?
4 months.
Okay? It took them 4 months. All right? So that would be what? 500 feet per month that they're digging. Okay? That's great. They're making good progress. Okay? Now, at this point, I could probably just use my common sense to figure out, well, if they have 1,500 feet left to dig and they're digging 500 feet a month, I could figure out the answer from here. Okay? But the challenge is that they want it in an equation. So I have figured out my rate, but I don't know how long at that rate it's going to take me to get the full 3,500 feet that have to be done. Okay? So here's my equation. I need to dig a total of 3,500 feet, meaning, and this is why it's my y value. It's my y value because if I don't do anything to x, meaning I don't have any months under my belt of digging, I have the full 3,500 feet to go. Are you with me? Okay, but then once I start digging, I'm digging 500 feet per month, but I don't know how many months it's going to take total. I know that I dug 4 months already, but I don't know how many months I have to dig total to get the full 3,500 feet. All right? So how could I solve it? Divide both sides by negative 500. Negative 500. Okay? And it's going to be 7 months. All right? 7 months. All right. Is there a way I could have figured that out without an equation? Absolutely. Would that have probably been my tendency, even as your teacher, to say, oh, well, it's 4 months and, hello, 1,500 feet left, I'm digging 500 feet a month, it's 3 more months, 7 months total. But we can show that in an equation. It's important that we understand how to do that. All right? And 3,500 was my total, and I'm digging 500 feet per month, so I can divide it to figure out how many months. All right, and that's 7 months. And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for section 4.6.